You both took some incredible footage of the ballistic missiles coming in from Iran the night before last, I understand it. Let's have a look.
Oh my God.
Well, Liam, tell us what that experience was like watching over 40 incoming Iranian missiles.
It was quite unnerving, but we felt it'd be really important that our audience and your audience, see that footage and see what it's like for, everyone living in Tel Aviv and right across Israel. This has been happening several times since we've been here. The air raid sirens went off about 3 times yesterday. There was another one today, and when we were driving up north towards Haifa, and more of these ballistic missiles were sent through. We saw some of them get intercepted, and then one hit an empty bus today. So it's something that is constantly happening, but we felt it was really important that our audience see this, and it was certainly unnerving to see that. But thankfully, today nobody died, but in that footage there, I think there were several casualties.
Yeah, there were that night for sure. Yoni, we know that America is sending carriers and aircraft into the region. How much does Israel need the United States to get involved here to completely destroy sites like Fordo?
Well, I think generally speaking, 2 hands are probably better than 1, but the Americans have very good reasons to try and stay out of the conflict. And I think it probably puts them in a better negotiating position if they're not involved. But I think the Israeli perspective would obviously be that having the Americans become involved would make the job of degrading the Iranian capability to strike at Israeli capital cities a much easier task. So I'm sure what the Israelis have been pushing is for the Americans to enter the arena. But we know that the Americans have drawn a red line against doing that unless they come under attack themselves, and we haven't quite seen that yet.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear the outcome of the emergency meeting that Trump called. Liam, you also visited the site of Bat Yam, where, as we just spoke about, entire residential buildings were hit and civilians were killed. Being on the ground there when you're in this lockdown-like environment that Yoni mentioned, what was it like?
It's really interesting. There's been a huge change to the entire country since I was here back in October, and then also in June last year. It was a lot more busy, a lot more bustling. People were still going out to cafes and restaurants. At the moment, cafes, restaurants all closed. At Bat Yam, it was, it was quite solemn. There was also a lot of emotion from family members there. But the residents that are still there, they're saying that they're rebuilding. They're not going to leave. None of this is going to change their way of life. Incredibly resilient.
All right, Yoni, Bashan and Liam Mendes, please stay safe. I know you two love an adventure, and look, you're so courageous for going over there in the middle of the war, and you've both spent a lot of time in Israel, particularly you, Yoni, since October 7, but stay safe and we'll speak to you soon.